Good afternoon. My name is Rich Nass, and I am the brand director for the embedded group of Open Systems Media. I am here for 5 minutes with Wally Rhines, who is the chairman and CEO of Mentor Graphics. Wally certainly needs no introduction. Hello, Wally. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Rich.
Very good, very good. Okay, we only have 5 minutes, so let's get right to it. We know that Mentor has acquired a fairly long list of companies in the recent past, and you've been a part of most of that. What's the most difficult part about bringing in a whole new set of people who may or may not have different cultures?
So the biggest challenge is bringing value to the acquiree. Usually that comes in the form of sales bandwidth, but sometimes we do other things like trying to improve the work environment, getting new PCs for people, getting access to other information. But the most important thing is if people don't feel that the acquisition has enhanced their value and their ability to make their product successful, then it's very hard to keep them around.
So do you feel like you learn as much from them as they do from you?
We do, and frequently the acquiree becomes the acquirer. If they have expertise that exceeds what we have internally, we'll frequently move our internal group to report to the acquired company.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure people like to hear that. Okay, so I went through your bio, and you obviously have an engineering background. Do you find that helps you or doesn't help you? I mean, I've talked to other folks in a similar boat, and they find themselves spending so much time so much time in the engineering labs that it almost takes away from running the day-to-day company. Where do you sit?
I think an engineering background is mandatory for the senior management of an EDA company. And you'll notice that the major EDA companies all have engineers running them. I just can't imagine a successful EDA company that's run by non-engineers or non-scientists. How do you communicate with your people? How do you interact with the ones who add the most value? How do you prioritize and evaluate if you don't know what they're talking about? You can delegate a lot of things, but you still have to be able to communicate and understand what's the technology, why does it have an impact, how might it be applied, and we're an industry that is simply dominated by technologists who have picked up business skills or business people who picked up a lot of technology skills.
Well, I'm sure our engineering audience will be very happy to hear that. So do you spend time with the engineers, and do you ever do any engineering work these days?
I don't do it directly myself, but I certainly interact with the people who do, and I'm paid to make prioritization decisions that are largely based on my experience in the semiconductor and EDA industry. So the direct interaction is important. You'll notice when you see me and most engineering managers from Mentor at DAC and other places that we're in there talking to individual contributor engineers, trying to understand what they're doing, and that's a big part of why I think we're able to move ahead and be successful.
So do you ever get homesick for that part of the job? Would you like, every once in a while say, I wish I could just go back and design something? Sure,
I'd like to, but it's sort of like becoming a parent or becoming a professor. At some point, you have to delegate the actual doing to others and become the motivator, the experience, maybe provide a little insight, but in general, step back from the actual doing yourself much as you would like to do it again. Very good. Okay. One of the things people always say about Mentor Graphics is that it's a great place to work, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with you personally. You worked at Texas Instruments for a very long time, and that's also been described as a very good place to work. What did you learn at TI that you were able to bring with you to Mentor to foster such a great place to work? Well, I learned a lot, and both positive and negative that influenced what I did at Mentor. The biggest thing was delegation of responsibility, delegation of authority while maintaining responsibility, and also respect for the individual. We're an industry, and so is TI, that depends greatly on the contributions of individuals. Other things might include the minimization of politics and the ability to have executive interaction with the people in the organization who do the work, focusing on what you do best, some things like that came with 21 years at TI and now 21 years at Mentor.
Now, a lot of people say a lot of things that you just said about the minimizing of politics, the open door policy. It's easier said than done. I mean, are there tangible things that happen at Mentor Graphics to make this happen?
Yeah, there are, and you never totally eliminate it, but we all want our organizations to be meritocracies, and so we can usually see the signs of when we're creeping away from that and when we're becoming too staid or people are becoming too secure in their positions. So even at my level, we regularly look for opportunities to move key people into different responsibilities so that they can be rejuvenated and bring some of their expertise to a different area.
Well, this is a topic that has as many questions as answers, but since this is called 5 Minutes with Wally Rhines, we are at our 5-minute mark, so I'm sorry, but we have to cut it off at this point. So I would like to thank you, Wally, the Chairman and CEO of Mentor Graphics, for taking 5 minutes for our 5-minute discussion. Thank you, Wally.
Thanks very much, Rich.